everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, have another amazing design by Steve Good. I've already got the pattern printed out to its full size and attached to our material with clear packing tape, and it's going to be a St. Patrick's Day project. I've already got my green on in anticipation of the day. Now, I don't associate St. Patrick's Day with what a lot of people associate it with. In my mind's eye, I associate it with warmer days approaching as well as longer days in springtime. So really, really cool. And today's project is going to be a throwback because I have made this project before on camera for you guys way back in March of 2019 when the channel was just getting off the ground and I was building it up. So 5 years have passed and I figured I'd come back and make this project again. Again, it's a St. Patrick's Day project just to see how the workflow has evolved as well as the workshop itself. I recently went back and watched that older video of me making this design, and it was kind of cringe-worthy for me to go back because I was pausing in my talking and everything like I didn't know what to say, and I just felt that I have evolved as a woodworker as well as a maker for the YouTube platform. So hopefully I can do it justice this go around. Without further ado, here is the design. It says Luck of the Irish. It's got two nice dancing leprechauns there. Luck of the Irish is in a nice font. It has some shamrocks there, and it's on a platform here to where it can have a base. And I've already got a piece here of scrap pine for the base. That is what this whole project is going to consist out of. It is 3/4 inch pine, and if you remember when we made the Bigfoot diorama, this material here is from the same board we cut that project out of. So I had a little bit left over and wanted to make this project again. When I made the very first one, I didn't even finish it, so I want to do it completely from start to finish this time. Really, really cool. I always love springtime and the approaching summer months, and since everything is prepared, let's move the camera, drill all of our pilot holes so we can come back to the scroll saw and get started. And over here at the workbench, we're going to take the Seiko scroller's drill and drill out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And you can see I have a backer board behind the scroll work to prevent blowout of the pilot holes on the reverse side. But then we will head to scrolling. And for all the scrolling on this project, I will be using number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blades for all of the scrolling process, and it will cut through the 3/4 inch pine material here exceptionally well with minimal chip out. And as I've used it several times before, you guys can tell I am a fan of pine. It's readily available in my area, and it takes both stain and paint exceptionally well and finishes up great. You just have to take a little bit more time with it because it can be tedious to work with. If you guys would like to try this pattern, it's available as a free pattern download over at Steve Good's scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his free pattern catalog. And keep in mind, this is one of his older pattern offerings because I cut this project out on video many years ago. So just keep that in mind if you go to look for it. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of St. Patrick's Day patterns out there, and that was one of the reasons I revisited this project. It is a beautiful design, and I believe I've even seen a version of this exact pattern uploaded to 3D printing sites where you could actually 3D print it. But it does not take long to cut this project out. I am, as always, taking my time and letting the blade do the work. And again, they do a great job of cutting through the pine material. As I am sitting here scrolling, I am thinking about the annual St. Patrick's Day Bash that downtown Burlington, North Carolina has, and it's always one of the first big events of the year that signifies like the reopening of the season and everything. And for me, it just always represents that warmer and longer days are right around the corner. But we're going through here getting some of the final internal cuts done, and then it will be time to release the project from the waste wood. And as I said, I took my time and let the blade do the work, and because of that, I did not break a blade during the entire scrolling process. But now that all of the internal cutting is done, it is now time to release the piece, as I said, from the waste wood, and that will require following that long continuous outside cut line along the perimeter of the project, and then all of the scroll work will be complete. And I hope you guys appreciate the new camera angles. It's just something I wanted to try to really show off all sides of the scroll saw while I was sitting at it doing these scroll saw projects. Please let me know if you enjoy the different angles down in the comments. But we are now coming around the other dancing leprechaun. And now all the scroll work is complete. And we can go over to the workbench and remove the project from the waste wood. And now I can eyeball and quickly sketch out a line to make a base by. And then once I'm happy with that, we will go cut that out over on the Rikon table saw here. Of course, cutting out a smaller piece, I will use a push block for safety. But after it was cut out, I decided to put a nice OG profile on the base. And I like just having profiles on the front and back sides of bases. That might be me, but I think it creates a nice visual. But after this was done, it was time for sanding, and I used 180 grit Klingspor woodworking shop sandpaper and my vibrating palm sander here, and I sanded the front and back of both the base and the scroll work. And then it was time to glue it together, and I used CA glue and activator, although you totally have the option to use wood glue if you would like to wait for that to dry and cure. But I will set this aside for around 5 minutes to make sure the CA glue has completely cured before giving it a nice coat of Minwax wood stain. This is Golden Pecan. And of course, with all scroll saw projects, you can stain them or paint them if you chose to do so. But I will wipe off the excess and let it dry by a heat source for around an hour. And after it dried, it was time for a finish, and that was several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And when that dried, the project was complete. And here we have the completed look of the Irish piece, cut out primarily on the scroll saw, with the base of course being cut out on the table saw and router table, and it finished up amazingly well. Thank you, Steve Good, for another fantastic pattern from your pattern catalog. Once again, it's one of his older pattern offerings, so just keep that in mind if you go to the catalog and want to look for it. The first time I ever made this project was way back 5 years ago, so that just tells you how old the pattern is. It took me around 45 minutes to scroll this project out from start to finish. I took my time and let the blade do the work, and the pine material finished up amazingly well. Now there is some of those tighter turns in this project, but as I said, I took my time with the blade and the cutting procedure, and those tight V turns, I just go on one side of the V, back it out, cut into negative space, and then cut in to get as tight a V point as possible, if that makes any sense. But everything came out nice and crisp. You can easily tell what the quote says here, "Luck of the Irish." All of the shamrocks are easily distinguished, as well as the two dancing leprechauns on either side. And I made the base in a basic manner, and I'm one of the few that likes only putting a decorative edge on the front and back side of a base just for a creative flair to it. You can see I didn't go all the way around with the Roman OG profile, but I still think it looks great, and it does not take away from the scroll saw work here. Of course, this project was cut out of pine in today's video. You always have the option of using exotic woods or cutting it out of a lighter wood like this and taking acrylic craft paints to it. So a lot of versatility with scroll saw patterns like this, and I used a light Minwax wood stain on it to where it did not mask off the natural grain of the pine. And then when it dried and we got to clear coating it, I think the Rust-Oleum clear gloss really brought the texture and everything out, and the natural beauty of the pine wood with the color from the Minwax wood stain. But really cool. As you can tell, I'm really excited for the springtime, and in my mind's eye, St. Patrick's Day is always the kick off to the spring season. I'm looking forward to warmer and longer days, seeing the trees bud out, the grass start growing, and seeing the birds return from the south, and just the beauty and the rebirth of nature and everything. And St. Patrick's Day for me, as I said, is the kickoff for the event. But really cool. I had a lot of fun in today's project, and I hope you guys like watching me throw it back and make a project that I made a long time ago. If you care to, you can go back and see the original video I made of this, or you you can just enjoy the video we made here today. But really, really cool. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care. Happy St. Patrick's Day, my friends, and I'll see you guys real soon.